So welcome to your behind the scenes tour with the Next Generation Kinect and Xbox One. My name is Kareem Chowdhury. I'm the development manager for Kinect, and I'm here to tell you all about our next gen sensor and the hardware capabilities and then the software that we've built on top of it. I'll give you kind of a quick walkthrough. It's going to take about 12 minutes. Then I'll give you guys all a chance to kind of come up and play for yourself, and then 15 minutes you'll be moving on to the next station. All right, so let's kind of get to it. You know, our next generation sensor is really kind of the eyes and ears of the room, and I'm going to show you what's capable of. B, if you can come join me up here, please. So what you're looking at here is the actual 3D depth view that the camera itself sees. So right away, I'll just kind of point out the incredible fidelity that we have. You know, you can see all this detail on her shirt. You can see the badge that's actually tingling back and forth. You know, if she shrugs her shoulders, you can see kind of the wrinkles in her shirt. You can see her actual fingers moving, etc. So we have about 3 times the fidelity of what we had with the Xbox One Kinect sensor. So a tremendous improvement. The next thing we have is an incredibly large field of view. Go ahead and come as close as you can to the sensor, so you can see how close she can get and also, you know, how far back she can get. And then, you know, side to side movement as well. So we really have the entire family room covered. It does, you know, you can have a big family room, you can have a small family room. You know, this next generation sensor with Xbox One is going to work in any of those environments. Again, a huge improvement over where we were before. So, you know, this depth map is what we use for a lot of our algorithms, and it's fantastic, but, you know, it's not really so pretty for people to look at. You know, for that, we have our HD 1080p color feed. So, so the, you know, the field of view is so wide that you can't even keep the cameras out of it, so you can all wave to yourself in there. You know, you can see we've got the entire living room in here. If you want to have the greatest Skype experience that you can have, like, this is the sensor that you want because everybody shows up. You got great quality, really crisp, clear, high resolution images, about 6 times the fidelity that we had in Kinect V1. And you can even zoom in on individual faces and get really high quality. So you can get a fantastic in-game experience, fantastic Skype experience that works. So as great as this color feed is, it does have one big downside, and that's that it doesn't work in the dark. So we're going to turn down the lights. It's going to be completely black in here. And as the lights come down, you'll see that this color feed is not so useful anymore. You know, I'm a hardcore gamer. I watch movies in the dark. I play games in the dark or in very, very low lighting. So when we thought about this, when we were building the next generation of Kinect, we really wanted a sensor that can see in the dark. So that's exactly what we did. This new view is what we call active IR. And it's literally, the sensor can see in the dark. So as you know, you can all see yourselves in the back over there. I can see someone's filming. We got a little bit of a flash. You know, again, incredible fidelity on our face and on our hands. Everything is showing up fantastic. I'm going to go back to the color feed a second and kind of simulate a realistic living room where, you know, you have a lamp on one side and you can see she's got, you know, lighting beside her, or if you have lighting on the top, you know, it's really not that great a picture depending upon the lighting. I'm going to go back to our active IR. Oh, excuse me just a second. Back to our active IR. And as you can see, not only can we see in the dark, but we completely remove all ambient light from the situation. This flashlight is not showing up at all. Really amazing technology. We build all of our computer vision on top of this. We have, you know, true ability to be lighting independent in the living room. So we can get the lights back on, please. Thank you. All right, you can go ahead and have a seat. Thanks a lot, B. And so that really kind of covers the eyes of the sensor. Now I'm going to talk about the ears. You know, a pretty standard scenario is that you have a 5.1 or a 7.1 stereo setup. You're sitting on a couch, you're watching an action movie, or you're playing, you know, an action game. You've got background music, you've got explosions, sometimes gunfire, you've got characters on the screen, you know, that are interacting with each other, and you want to be able to issue commands from your sofa to your Xbox. So what I'm about to play for you is an actual recording from one of the microphones in our 4-element microphone array of what the sensor hears during one of those scenarios. It was recorded with a 5.1 setup in a living room. And if you listen closely, you'll be able to hear someone issuing commands to the Xbox. Can anyone hear it? Okay, now this is the exact same recording after it's gone through our custom audio hardware on the Xbox One console and our software pipeline.
Delta squad, move left. Delta squad, take cover. Order cover on my right. Rally to checkpoint Bravo.
So as you can hear, we can cut through all of the game audio that comes out. We can deliver a really clean, pristine audio signal, and then we can do speech recognition on top of that to enable all the scenarios that you saw Yusuf demoing this morning. So, really kind of fantastic stuff. All right, so that's really kind of the eyes and ears of the sensor. Now I'm going to transition and start to talk about the brains. And this is where Microsoft's capability at a company-wide level really comes together. That's where the software engineers on my team start to work with all of the top world-leading experts in Microsoft research in fields such as computer vision, machine learning, speech recognition, facial recognition, digital signal processing. It all comes together, and then we build the software platform you're about to see today. B, do you mind coming up again and helping me out? All right, so you've all seen skeletal tracking in the first version of Kinect. This is the next generation. So right away, I'll just point out the incredible stability in the skeleton that you're seeing here. And as Bee's moving back and forth and moving all around, you can see how accurately we're representing the motions that she's doing. We have a very anatomically correct skeleton. We have hips in the right location. We have spine joints. She can shrug her shoulders. She's really, really expressive. Kinect V1 was really about kind of gross human movement, and now we can get to really fine-grained articulation and really kind of understand what's happening in fine detail at the skeletal level. The other big advancement I'll point out is the hand, tip, and thumb joints that we've been able to add. If you can kind of give me a little kind of open and close. And as she rotates her hands around, you can actually see her thumb joint going from one side to the other. So fantastic innovation both at the hardware and the software level to make this possible. We only have one skeleton up here right now, and in the end, I'll invite everyone to come up and we can do 6 simultaneously in the field of view all at the same time. We can do simultaneous 6 skeletal tracking at the same time. Yeah, we'll show that at the end. So this is a great representation of how all the bones are connected together. Blockman represents how all of her bones are oriented together. So as she's rotating her arms, you can see that things are flipping back and forth. It's very anatomically correct. She can lift her leg out, move her knee, etc. And we have really realistic representation of what's happening at the physiological level. So fantastic real-time understanding of what's going on. So as fantastic as this is, I'm 6'4", and my skeleton only weighs 8 pounds. If you want to know what I'm doing at the human level, you really need to understand what are my muscles doing, what forces am I experiencing, what torque is actually going on. So that's our lead into Muscle Man. So what this is a real-time human-based physics simulation built on top of our skeletal tracking and our high-fidelity depth map. The colors represent the actual force that she's feeling in the various joints and muscles. So green being none and red being the most. So, as she's going from one foot to the other, you can see that the intensity is being displayed for what she's experiencing in her own body. If I can get you to do a little bit of a squat, she's feeling it in her thighs and we can see it on the screen. So, real-time fidelity. If I can get you to jump up in the air, notice her whole body turn green, because when you're in the air, obviously there's no force applied anywhere. So you'll all get the chance to kind of come up and try this later. So fantastic representation. And we can also use this technology to get an understanding of how much force is being applied for something like, say, a punch. So give me a little bit of a light jab. You see that little white dot that came up? So that's what's going on. Now I want you to really put your back into it and shift your weight. So notice as she punches harder, we get a bigger white circle. You can see the weight transfer happening from the back leg to the front leg, all that power momentum being represented on the screen. Fantastic human body understanding. So, any good trainer in the world will tell you that this information is incredible to understanding what the human body is doing, but to really take things to the next level, you need one more thing, and that's the ability to detect heart rate. So what's happening here is we're using both our color feed and our active IR feed to detect in real time her heart rate. She's not wearing a sensor, she's not wearing any devices. We're actually detecting her pulse in her face. So what happens is, as your heart beats, there's fluctuations in color and intensity in your skin that are imperceptible to the human eye, but that we're able to pick up with the Kinect sensor and the Xbox One hardware. So you can see, the different graphs kind of representing, what's going on just with her pulse. So, outside, we know pretty much everything that's going on. Really fantastic. 65, pretty good considering how much you're moving around there. So on top of all this, we got the body pretty well covered. We need to know a little bit more about what's going on with Bee's face. So this is our player info. And you can see, B is, guest number 2. And I'll point out expressions right away. Right now she has a neutral expression. I can get you to smile for me. Thank you. So she's toggling between happy and neutral. So we're able to detect in real time, is she happy, is she not? Which is, really powerful, fantastic information. Engagement's another great one. When she's looking at the screen, she's engaged. If I can get you to look away, now she's no longer engaged. So the power of this one is that if she says Xbox pause and she's looking at the TV, we know to pay attention. But if she were to look away and talk with her friend or talk to somebody in another room and say Xbox pause, we'll know to filter that out because she's no longer engaged with the TV. So, true analog human understanding is what we have going on here. But we're also able to see her open and close her mouth and use a time detector to see if she's actually talking. So, fantastic. We got a nice little kind of representation in the bottom right-hand corner as she's smiling and as she's looking away. All right, so I'm gonna actually take these controllers off their wires and I'm gonna come and join B. All right. So you can see we can kind of support 2 people, and I'll point out, I'm holding controller 1 and 2, and you may have noticed that it actually has me labeled as Kareem underneath my face. I walked into the scene and it instantly recognized who I was. That's kind of the magic of identity, is what you saw Yusuf showing this morning. I'm gonna hand one of these controllers to B. She's not gonna push any buttons, and in a little bit you should see, right, there we go. So now it knows that I'm holding controller 1 and that she's holding controller 2. And if we decide, hey, let's switch places a little bit. All right, so we can switch places. Automatically the screen knows to update. It knows what side of the room that we're on. We no longer have to jockey on the sofa depending upon split screen or trade controllers or do anything like that. If anyone else wants to come up and join us, now would be a great time. Controller 2, so we could kind of play this game all day. But right now, what?
Can't we? It would be
Yeah,
fantastic. No.
yeah, sure. Here, I'll give you controller 2. All right, I'll take controller 1. So, we're not pushing any buttons. Through the power of the Kinect sensor and Xbox One, we can see who's holding what controller. We can rotate through. But now for the fun of it, I'm going to bring up Muscle Man full screen and invite you all to come up and play.